Rape Fantasies is a renowned short story by Margaret Atwood, initially published in 1977. Known for its dark humor and sharp social commentary, the story sheds light on the pervasive sense of dread that women experience in the modern world. The narrative follows Estelle, the narrator, who reflects on the prevalence of rape references in popular culture and the seemingly light-hearted treatment of the subject in various magazine articles. Estelle recounts a conversation she had during her lunch break with her co-workers, Chrissy, Greta, Sandra, and Arlene. While playing a game of bridge, Chrissy interrupts the game to inquire if any of them have ever fantasized about rape, inspired by one of the aforementioned articles. Uncomfortable with the topic, Estelle tries to steer the conversation back to the game. Sandra and Chrissy eagerly share their stories, while Darlene, an older divorced woman, initially finds the subject repugnant and distances herself by standing near the coffee machine, with her back turned to the group. Greta, on the other hand, confesses that she has indeed entertained a rape fantasy. In her imagination, a dashing young man dressed in black intrudes into her apartment through the open balcony. Greta's fantasy carries a romantic allure, heavily influenced by movies and television. After the assault, the man reveals his experiences with assaulting women and departs through the balcony. Chrissy then shares her own fantasy. While bathing in the tub, an intruder enters. Despite being aware that escape is futile as he blocks the exit, Chrissy chooses not to scream or resist, allowing him to violate her. At this point, Estelle interjects, expressing her belief that these scenarios do not truly encompass rape fantasies since the women in their fantasies find enjoyment in the experience, albeit with a stranger. Estelle insists that true rape involves being coerced into the act through threats, such as a knife held to one's throat. However, the others in the conversation do not share her perspective and consider her humor on the subject to be in poor taste. Chrissy challenges Estelle to reveal her own rape fantasy, and eventually, Estelle complies. In her first fantasy, a man assaults her, but she surprises him by producing a plastic lemon from her purse. She squirts him in the eye, to which Chrissy responds with disappointment, and Darlene sarcastically comments on Estelle's sense of humor. Estelle then shares another fantasy, where she is walking down a dark street and gets cornered by a short, unattractive man covered in pimples. As he tries to rape her, he struggles to unzip his pants and eventually breaks down and tears out of frustration. Surprisingly, Estelle feels sympathy for him. However, she abruptly changes the subject, expressing her disappointment with her move to Toronto, expecting it to be a thrilling adventure, and speculates that it may be easier for men to meet new people. It becomes apparent that Estelle is addressing someone beyond the confines of her memory of the conversation. Returning to the memory, Estelle begins to share a second rape fantasy, this time involving her being sick in bed. A similarly ill man climbs in through the window and, speaking with a stuffed nose lisp, informs her of his intention to rape her. However, instead of carrying out the act, they both take medicine and watch television together. Feeling that her light-hearted stories are not well received, Estelle offers a third fantasy. In this scenario, she is in her mother's basement when a man wielding an axe bursts in. He claims to hear voices urging him to kill her. In a surprising twist, Estelle tells the man that she can hear the same voices compelling him to rape, which confuses him and causes him to leave. She also reveals two more fantasies. In one, a man attempts to grab her, but she displays her expertise in martial arts and successfully fights him off. In another fantasy, a man starts to rape her, but she discloses that she has leukemia and only a few weeks to live. Surprisingly, he confesses that he is also terminally ill, and they engage in a quiet conversation, go for coffee, and eventually end up living together in their final months. Estelle feels reluctant to share this particular fantasy, realizing that her own fantasies aren't much different from the ones she criticized earlier. Estelle acknowledges that in her fantasies, the would-be rapist is always a stranger. However, she acknowledges that statistics indicate that rape typically occurs at the hands of someone the victim knows. As Estelle continues to ramble, she shares personal details about herself. She mentions that she doesn't drink, but enjoys visiting upscale bars alone, despite being aware of the risks involved. It becomes evident that Estelle is narrating her story to another patron, most likely a male, in a bar. She admits that she doesn't know why she is sharing all of this with him, but she believes that engaging in conversation with a potential attacker is the best defense against a violent assault from a stranger. Estelle firmly believes that no one could harm a woman they have just had an extensive conversation with. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.